Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Showcraft broadcast this evening. My name is Totalbiscuit, and we've got on the line, direct from Sweden, Mr. dApollo. Welcome once again.
Hello from Sweden, everybody. How's it going, mate?
It's not been too shabby. How is it over there? Is it a little bit nippy?
It is freezing. It's been snowing, and the snowflakes are huge. They're like 10 times the size of any English snowflakes I've ever seen.
Wow, 10 times the size of English snowflakes. So what we might say is that Sweden is well endowed in that regard. I don't want to even comment on the rest of it, though. I can tell you that for a fact. All right, well, we've got some Iron Squid coming up for you. So Iron Squid is a $25,000 tournament being organized by the French casters Pomfetude. We're dealing at the moment with the English side of things, and they did a qualifier yesterday, and we've got some choice cuts from that tournament.
Yeah, we do, man. And just the amount of players signing up, and there's been so many Koreans signing up. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah,
and the skill caliber, man, is incredibly high for this tournament. I mean, they're setting the bar. They're setting the standards extremely high for this tournament.
They're not mucking about, are they? And I'm really actually glad to see a lot of Koreans getting involved in this kind of stuff, especially those that have qualification spots, because what we're tending to see now is kind of a combination of invitational tournaments with a couple of qualifiers. So you get some interesting curveballs thrown in that are more often than not either Korean or really, really high-tier foreigner that's not necessarily like the popular choice. Everyone wants to invite people like LighT, everyone wants to invite Idra, but we've seen people qualify through in the foreigner and the Korean scene that have been really powerful, gone on to win tournaments. Really, really awesome. Hell, Stefano qualified for IPL 3.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, even looking at, IPL 4, you had players like Tails qualify from Korea who managed to finish second in the tournament in England. So qualifiers opens up a lot of talent for a lot of players that don't necessarily get invited or don't have teams that can pay for them to go to the open bracket. So, qualifiers is a great way for Starcraft to see new talent, which is something that this tournament is definitely delivering for sure.
Yeah, and they've only done one qualifier. We're already seeing some amazing games. And sadly, we weren't able to cast this live yesterday. A variety of factors got in the way, but as I said, we have some choice cuts. And the first series we're going to bring you two best of threes and the best of five today on Showcraft, and then of course do our usual customs and things like that. The first series is actually from earlier on in the tournament, and it's between a player that kind of disappeared for a little while and then came back with the revival of a team called LighT, and he goes by the name of Kawaiirice.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't actually know that much about him. He's a bit of an inconsistent player. The one thing I did know about him, that whenever I saw him play versus Zerg, it was something to take notes about, because he was really good against them, very drop harassment heavy, and his timings were always hit perfectly. But in the other matchups, he's just never been that strong of a player. We don't see him at these big international events. But he is playing in this qualifier versus an opponent which I didn't even know about too recently. This kid is, new to the scene. He fell out of Code A recently, and it's a player called Symbol here.
Yeah, Symbol is, from what I've seen of him, which is not an awful lot, bearing in mind that there's a ton of talent in Korea that you barely see. And it's really sad, isn't it? You know about the big players, and those who've been following the GSL maybe know about the Code S and some of the Code A regulars, but there's just so many players that seem to get left by the wayside that have so much talent, and tournaments like this is ideal for seeing that in action.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Symbol was a guy that managed to qualify for Code A and then immediately dropped down, but who did he play against? None other than Genius, who's been wrecking Code S. So, it's hardly anything to actually judge him on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting to see how he does play. And even just his results in the Korean leagues, the ESV and Twitch have done, he's been performing amazingly. So it'll be interesting to see him go up against a player like Kawaiirice.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think we should wait up any longer. I'm actually really psyched for this one. So you ready to get started?
Let's do this.
Absolutely. And this is the maiden voyage of the brand new second monitor. I'm so happy to actually have this now. This is making my production so much easier. It's like I have so much room. There's so much room for activities. It's brilliant. All right, so we're going to go into this game right here between Kawaiirice and Symbol. If Apollo, you are ready to get started.
Let's do it.
Yep, keep an eye on the special device, the window that no one else needs to know about. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GSL Daybreak, and it's my pleasure to bring you from Team SCV Life in Korea, Symbol. He is in the green trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the northeast of this particular map. Versus his opponent, it is from the newly resurrected Team LighT.Kawaiirice. He is in the yellow trunks playing Terran to the southwest.
And this is a decent map for Kawaiirice if he wants to play his kind of drop-heavy style while maintaining a defensive posture on the map, to be honest. Daybreak is one of the biggest maps that anyone has had in any map pool.
Yep.
Even though it looks very small on the minimap, because of that middle destructible debris holding off the center pathway, it is quite a big map. And to be honest, on the other hand, actually, thinking about Symbol, from what I've read about him, he used to be a Brood War professional player. Back for Hwasun Oz, which was the team, or kind of is, well, what definitely was, sorry, the team of Jadong. So, you know, he was a B-teamer at the same level as you could say Idra in Starcraft 1, because they were both B-teamers, but still, being at that level in Starcraft 1 is pretty important, to be honest. It means you're going to have a lot of skills transfer over into Starcraft 2, and we'll have to see, does that come out in this game?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see whether or not Kawaiirice can actually deal with that. Kawaiirice is interesting. I remember casting him back in the earlier days of this year, and I would say he dips in and out. He gets involved in some of the American tournaments and, of course, some of the internationals where you're able to qualify through there. You see him quite a bit online. And for a while, he sort of dipped out, and then with the resurrection of Team LighT, he came back. And what I remember from him most of all, actually, was in TVT, he had a very heavy Raven use, which is something that you're actually starting to see again, but was pretty rare back then.
Yeah, man, point defense drones late game and even mid game to deny pushes, Vikings and so on. It's so incredibly useful.
Yep.
The thing that I'm really interested to see here is that I mentioned a little bit before, you know, kind of my brief overhead from my memory of Kawaiirice, that he was always very good versus Zerg. And this is obviously his matchup he's playing in right now. So will he be able to compete against a Code A, Code B kind of level Zerg player that we have here from Symbol? And it does look like it's a hatchery expand, completely normal here from Symbol, followed by spawn and pull. And on the other hand, Kawaiirice looks like he's just doing a normal reactor Hellion expand here.
Yeah, Reactor Hellion incredibly popular on this map in particular, bearing in mind that you've got to start spreading your creep pretty early down to the third there from that expansion, and there is an opportunity to block that off because it's kind of a narrow corridor. There's this ramp that goes down to the third there, whereby a line of Hellions can easily deny a lot of creep spread, and once again, for people that either keep forgetting or simply don't really understand, those Hellions are not necessarily for drone line harassment. That's actually kind of low level. A lot of people in, say, a lower league will think about, oh, let's rush some Hellions into the mineral line, let's do some damage. But at higher levels, you don't really see that so much because the players are much better at defending it. So the Hellions are used to prevent the creep spread and by then proxy slow down the building of the third base.
Absolutely, and in this defensive map, it can open it up to even a fast third being taken because the distance between the natural and the third, say, for a Terran player is incredibly short.
Yep.
And can be covered by just minimal amount of units. So in that regard, we may see that from Kawaiirice. At the same time, because of that very reason, Symbol may not want to play the traditional two-base Spire play because it is a more defensive option that gives Terran a lot of time to get that third base up, to get that engineering bay up. So we may see some more aggressive play with Lings, Roaches, maybe early on Infestors. But meanwhile, we do have the Tech Lab coming down for Kawaiirice on that barracks. Going to be for Stim straight away. And also, just how many Hellions right now? Is it just 2? And let's see, does he build another 2 more after this? Yeah, he does.
Yes,
okay.
he does, yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean, that's 4. I mean, 4's okay. If he goes higher, then it's going to start to be, alright, well, what are you planning to do with these Hellions?
Yeah, exactly. If it goes higher than that, then you've got to be thinking, well, there's no need to have, say, more than 6 Hellions if all you're going to be doing is denying creep spread. We could talk about, say, Thorzane, who always builds 6 Hellions, except for the times when he doesn't, but mostly always builds 6 Hellions. And usually a player will have a number of Hellions in mind because they have a particular objective. Those Hellions are designed for one purpose, and then once they're used for that purpose, generally they won't take too much more part in the battle than maybe back off to defend. Maybe there's an opportunity for harassment there.
And we do see a very early macro hatch here from Symbol, and that is very early actually. So his production is going to be quite out of control. He also gets an evolution chamber down just because he doesn't know what's going on behind the closed doors of the supply depot and factory.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a Cloak Banshee follow-up or something along those lines. So he has to be sure and playing safe. So that's a good little thing there. And also a very early Baneling Nest here, actually. So he's kind of covering himself in case of anything that comes out from Kawaiirice, because I'm pretty sure that Symbol has absolutely no idea who Kawaiirice is.
Exactly. I love it. I absolutely love the choice of the Baneling Nest very early on. It gives you the ability to be reactionary, and Zerg is the reactionary race. So if you've got that kind of flexibility, then absolutely fantastic. And one other thing I didn't mention about those Hellions is that the map control they give is absolutely superb. So aside from Overlord scouting, there's no way you're getting out of that base. You have to prepare for anything. It could be absolutely anything, as you said, behind that Hellion wall.
And the Hellions do see on the right-hand side now, they do see that there's no third base. So already, Kawaiirice should be thinking, alright, well, my opponent should be taking a layer now if he's not taking a third base. Let's have a look what else he did see. He hasn't actually seen anything else aside from that, so in his eyes, this may be just a muta build.
Oh, hello.
And he's got... Ooh, what?
That would be an engineering bay going down to actually block that. Yeah, that is a little bit unusual, and there's the cancel as he sees the spine crawler push forward there, so... Yeah, that is not what you usually do against Zerg, honestly, but it's kind of amusing nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a little bit gimmicky, but I guess it doesn't make too much sense, and that's the reason why I cancelled it. Meanwhile, a lot of Lings are out now to deny anything, and, you know, that engineering bay would have been picked off immediately.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Symbol take a third base in a few seconds' time. Meanwhile, it looks like Kawaiirice is playing without tanks right now, which is very, very dangerous, to be honest, especially against this style which we're seeing develop from Symbol. A lot of Lings with +1 carapace. Baneling Nest is out as well, so he is going to be going for this kind of drop-heavy or even ground-heavy Marine and Medivac composition. But Hellions, once again, on that third base, really actively trying to deny and knowing what's going on. And there is the Spire been planted down now as well.
Yep, so Muta's on the way very shortly. Just 2-base Muta for the time being. Baneling speed being added on as well there by the one and only Symbol. His account name being First, by the way, there. For those of you who are confused as to why that nameplate's up there. You'll find that a lot of the Koreans are actually using these accounts that are designed specifically for playing in tournaments. So TSL probably has 1 or 2 accounts. They've probably got TSL First, TSL Second, things like that. And that's a fairly significant Baneling morph right there from First, in fact, morphing in 6. Now, 2 would be kind of defensive. 6? That smells to me like he wants to actually get a little bit aggressive.
Well, the thing is right now, he knows there's no third base been taken from Kawaiirice. He has an Overlord seeing that, oh, why haven't you taken the third base yet? And it's getting relatively late in the game.
Yep.
So he's like, well, what are you doing on 2 bases? So he morphs in some Banelings in anticipation for something to come, which is now slowly moving forward through the map. Whether this will achieve a lot, I don't know, because if you think about the composition that we're seeing from Symbol right now, you know, Kawaiirice can't deal with it.
No, he doesn't really have what he needs. If he gets exceptional Marine splitting, then I think he probably can. Tanks have only just really started coming out now. Hasn't got Siege Tech at all. Upgrade counter is at +1, but the +1 Carapace pretty much nullifies that. So it's possible, certainly, for Kawaiirice to win that encounter there. But again, Marine splitting would have to be absolutely fantastic. Really, really good engagements. And here he goes, cancelling out 4 Creep Tumors. And a little bit of poking and prodding right here. He's supported by Hellions as well. So depending on how careful his engagement is, there's a potential for damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be super careful as Mutas pop, though. I mean, he'll lose everything, including the Medivacs, and that gets expensive, and here he goes in now.
And there's the stim right there, and dodging out as quickly as he can, trying to get away from those Banelings. Baneling detonations are not all that good. The Hellions are able to get a few good shots off right there. Some good micro control right here by Kawaiirice, but as you said, it's just too much. He took out a lot of his opponent, but it wasn't enough, and the Medivacs go down.
Yeah, this is a pretty heavy loss there, and I don't know what he's trying to achieve with that. I mean, when Zerg players playing like this, they have all the vision on the map, and it was cleanly seen for such a long time here.
Yeah, this was a very, very swift annihilation in the center there, pushing all the way back to the natural expansion of Kawaiirice, and Symbol fairly confident about that and has easily been able to establish his third in the background. His macro is very strong already. He's on 68 drones. At the moment, he's producing another 9, so he wants to try and get that third base saturated, and having crushed that force from Kawaiirice, I would think he's pretty secure right now, especially with a Muta count of what will be 17 covering drops.
Oh, yeah, man. Look at his Overlord spread, though. He sees everything on this map. There's no way drops are getting out. There's no way a third base will not come undetected. He's in such a fantastic position right now, and he's coming in to harass, picking off turrets and SCVs, and he's just cruising in this game.
Oh yeah, he seems extremely comfortable, honestly. He's not shown panic at any point, including the potential harassment that could have come in there from the Hellions. Loses a couple of mutas here and there, but he denies a ton of mining time, and he also knows he has an economic lead here, so losing 2 Mutalisks, not really a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Being at 74 drones now, he can very easily take a 4th base, can easily think about throwing down an infestation pit now as that gas income keeps on rising and kind of go for a later tech despite his opponent being on 2 bases. Kawaiirice has to take a 3rd base right now. His SCV count is at 60, which is even too many or too much for 2 bases.
Yeah, it is a lot.
And he is picking up that command center, sending it down, but as soon as he does, it looks like Symbol's just going to be all over it. And that's due to that expansion just going down so late.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem, isn't it? If you don't have the necessary control, you don't have the necessary macro, in fact, to keep up with a player like Symbol, then when you're trying to take that 3rd base, it will get annihilated. He's already prepared to engage, and he's going to force that command center to back off. Baneling's coming in to back that up as well. Tanks currently undeployed, taking a couple of shots there from the mutas. There's the deployment of the tanks to try and deal with the ground force, but honestly, those mutas could just go in right now. And Banelings as well, coming in for the backup. Staggered tank lines in position, and a lot of Banelings target fired down right there, but it has still denied the expansion.
Yeah, it's like 4 base Zerg versus 2 base Terra now, and Kawaiirice has been, tossed around a little bit here, unfortunately, and the Hive does start. The one good thing for Kawaiirice out of anything is that upgrades are doing well. He's almost at 2-2 on the ground with +1 vehicle weapons as well. That's obviously going to help out a lot, considering the Zerg isn't that up to kind of beat with the same upgrades right now, only at 1-1 and working on 2-1 as well. So that could work okay for him, and he may win an overall engagement, but it's kind of quality versus quantity, and the quantity surely overwhelms that right now.
At the moment, certainly. We've got Symbol sitting at 165 supply, Kawaiirice at 131, starting to play catch-up, but indeed, even in terms of quality, things are going to start to get messy. Kawaiirice has an upgrade lead at the moment, but that's about to evaporate with +2 Carapace coming in, +1 flyer attack and +2 melee. There's the Hive upgrade coming in as well. 11 creep tumors simultaneously coming down right. That's insanity. I've never seen that kind of creep spread before. Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's ridiculous here from Symbol. He's got plenty going for him. He's got 5 queens to cover those 4 bases. He's in a really good spot. In the meantime, though, Kawaiirice now has at least finally taken that 3rd base. He has muled the hell out of that damn thing. That base has got a lot of ass. That's all I can say right now. And in the meantime, he's going to be pumping out as many units as he can.
Yeah, and he needs actually to take a 4th base kind of soon, because he is falling behind in the kind of economic war right now. And pathogen glands are finished. Fungal growth is surely coming out, of course, and the Greatest Spire starts as well. It's not looking good, because even if, Kawaiirice takes a decent engagement, look at the money banked up right now. It's just getting out of control a little bit. And not just the minerals, the gas, and now he spends it on 22 Banelings, man.
Very nice.
This guy's not messing around. He's just going to finish the kill.
Yeah, he ain't messing around. Although, I've got to say, he's got actually a couple of Banelings borrowed all over the place, but Kawaiirice is wise to that and has already managed to scan 2 of them out. There are a couple of packs of them, and this is an unusual position right here for Symbol, who decides to take his opponent's 4th, just because, hey, why not?
Yeah. That's crazy. This
that's nice. There we go. Wow. That was a good hit.
Yeah, this is not looking good at all for Kawaiirice right now. I mean, oh no, oh no.
Oh no, oh yeah. Oh god, that is hard to watch.
Oh, Kawaiirice, what happened in this game? Oh man, he lost a lot there. Even though his supply is not that far behind, he does have 71 SCVs, but he's making a lot of Marines, man. His production is pretty good, but at the same time, that was a lot of gas just lost right there. And what are we making now? 10 Corruptors. Broodlords are on the way. And what does Kawaiirice have to deal with it? Absolutely nothing right now.
Oh, you know what? I'm getting flashbacks to that little clip that I put up on YouTube. Remember that? I hate Zerg? Yeah, that's what I'm getting in my head right now. This is post-traumatic stress from when I played Terran. This 17 drones coming out. Zerg is so broken. My god. Ugh, especially when played by Koreans.
Yeah, man, this is pretty rough here for Kawaiirice. There's like not a single point in this game that he's been ahead. He's just been behind all game, and Symbol's not looking to drop the ball either. I mean, borrowed Banelings, Infestors, Broodlords. He's taking the top left base, which looks like it's going to be picked off now, and
yeah, I think
the
so.
center base. He's just controlling everything. The creep spread is unbelievable.
Oh my god. The cute thing is he's mining from that base as well. He's mining from it and he even built a queen, as if he could have possibly gotten away with that. Kawaiirice, needless to say, punishes him for it. Leaves a single marine there. It's a disdainful marine, a spiteful marine in the corner there. There's still a couple of burrowed banelings hidden around the map, and that's a lot of creep tumors coming down. He is more than halfway across the map with it.
Oh, this drop. Oh, that's an ugly drop that just got killed. Oh dear.
Yeah, I tried to actually have a look at that. I couldn't even see it. And whatever the case, Kawaiirice is in an awful lot of trouble here.
Oh, the Broodlords. Oh no, Kawaiirice.
Here it comes. Here comes the pain, and the ghost count is nowhere near big enough to deal with that many Broodlords. Marine tank versus Broodlords, and Ling, Baneling, even Infestors on the ground right there. This is gonna get messy. It's getting very, very messy indeed. There's the stim, but easily grabbed there by the Infestors, and the Broodlords remain alive, and there is the GG, ladies and gentlemen. And Symbol taking the first game in that best of 3 series, and it was dominant.
That's one way to put it. That was incredibly one-sided. Wow, it just looked like Kawaiirice played the wrong style for this map. I don't know what he was trying to achieve with walking out with Marines and Medivacs at that stage of the game, knowing his opponent was on 2 base. And he wasn't playing macro. He was playing with this kind of gimmicky push, and man, he walked all over that, did Symbol.
Yes, he did. Symbol's pretty good, as it turns out.